So, as you can probably tell, the country we're representing is Ethiopia. An introduction. Ethiopia is located in the tropical zone of the equator, and it's pretty hot. Ethiopia has three different climate zones. A tropical climate zone with an average annual temperature of around 27 degrees Celsius, making it the hottest region in Ethiopia, where the temperature even climbs to 50 degrees Celsius sometimes. And people don't live there. So the second region is the subtropical climate zone with an average annual temperature of around 22 degrees Celsius. And finally, Ethiopia's third climate zone, the cool zone, which has an average annual temperature of around 16 degrees Celsius. Climate variations such as rainfall and higher than average minimum temperature have created instability in the occurrence of certain diseases such as malaria. Ethiopia, located in the Horn of Africa, has a pointy landmass that splits out of the eastern part of the continent. Ethiopia has a total area of 1,127,127 square kilometers, and it is slightly less than twice the size of Texas. It is a tight landlocked country completely surrounded by other states, and Ethiopia is bordered by Kenya to the south, Somalia to the east, Djibouti and Eritrea to the northeast, and Sudan to the west.
What is it like to live in Ethiopia? In the very poor and rural places, people suffer from major diseases, and it is very hard to cure them. Women are actually essential in Ethiopia because they are being chosen for health post jobs and to care for the village. But in Ethiopia, 60 women die every day due to childbirth because they cannot get access to proper medical services due to a lack of money. What is global warming? Global warming is basically a gradual increase in Earth's overall atmospheric temperature. Carbon dioxide and other air pollution that is collecting in the atmosphere like a thickening blanket, trapping the sun's heat and causing the planet to warm up. Coal-burning power plants are the largest U.S. source of carbon dioxide pollution. They produce 2.5 billion tons every year. Automobiles, the second largest source, create nearly 1.5 billion tons of CO2 annually.
Global warming in Ethiopia. Well, Ethiopia is a heavily dependent country on rain-fed agriculture, meaning if you look out the window, they'd appreciate what's going on today. They use rain to feed their crops and feed themselves. And they do not emit that much carbon into the atmosphere compared to other countries. Because they have like a few factories like any other country would, but they use the rain mostly. Pretty intelligent. Yeah.
What are the effects of climate change in Ethiopia? For Ethiopia, the effect of climate change will be greatly beyond their food source, as they are dependent on agriculture and livestock for their economy. Floods and droughts will be devastating to this agriculture-based economy. It will also affect the country's infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and transportation that are still underdeveloped and will have direct effect on local people, specifically their day-to-day activities.
What is carbon emission? Every time people burn all the different types of fossil fuels, which then will release carbon emissions into the atmosphere, which makes it into carbon emissions. The effect with all this extra carbon dioxide causes the overall temperature we have now. Carbon emissions is also the primary greenhouse gas emitted through human activities.
Carbon emissions in Ethiopia. CO2 emissions were reported at 0.09 in 2008. According to the World Bank, carbon dioxide emissions are both stemming from the burning of fossil. This causes droughts and floods. There will be a lot of people suffering and dying as a result. The most affected are women as they do most of the work. What will happen to Ethiopia in the future if carbon emissions are not reduced? The people in Ethiopia would suffer from droughts, floods, and other natural disasters. Too much carbon dioxide in the air would cause even more global warming, causing the people in the country to be dehydrated, there are a lot of heat, and so on. There are many health risks if you do not reduce carbon emissions. Ethiopia can reduce the carbon emissions by using less transport as well as reducing the factory smoke.
In conclusion, we feel that Ethiopia is a developing place. But if they do not reduce their carbon emissions, which are mostly coming from their factories and burning of fossil fuels, then they will suffer from even more droughts and floods. However, Ethiopia is not that bad when it comes to emitting dangerous chemicals into the atmosphere. In fact, if you compare it with other countries, it does not contribute a whole lot to destroying our ozone layer.